obviously, DeFi has to happen on public blockchains. So, which are those main blockchains which are very popular for DeFi categories? That is what we are going to look at. But before that, let's understand what are the types of DeFi solutions. So, if you can see on my screen, the first one is a DEX. DEX stands for decentralized exchange. So, as you know, we have regular centralized exchanges. We do KYC, we log in, they give us an OTP, we do our transactions. The biggest difference between decentralized and centralized would be in centralized, your crypto is not controlled by your wallet or your key. It is controlled by the exchange. You log in and you can move things around, but you're not actually doing anything at the blockchain level. It is all happening at the database level in the exchange. And the risk in this approach is if something goes wrong, the exchange goes bust, the founders run away, you end up losing all your cryptos, which is why we say not your coin, not your keys, not your coins. In a decentralized exchange, it is under your control. So we call those non-custodial wallets. You have your own keys. Your private key is used to move things around. And the most popular example of a DEX would be Uniswap. Do you guys use any DEXs? Any of you? Would you like to answer there below? Like other than Uniswap, or let's say so Uniswap we use for Ethereum, and for Binance we're using PancakeSwap, right? Anybody else? Okay, Keshav uses PancakeSwap. Awesome. Now I'll take a question. What was the need to launch DeFi and how is it different from crypto? Okay, so crypto assets is just the names of all the different smart assets created on blockchain. DeFi is a use case, right? So cryptos come into many different categories. So for example, Bitcoin is considered a cryptocurrency because we use it for medium of exchange, paying people. Now, DeFi simply is how do we do financial services on this other than just payment, creating your own tokens, setting up different solutions. So that is what DeFi stands for. So it is a part of the whole blockchain ecosystem, right? Now let's have a look at, now if you see here, you will see there are 429 or 428 DEXs which are there today. So I've now gone into it. Are you able to see them? Awesome. So if you look here, you can see Curve, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Balancer, all of them are there. Now, whenever you look at, so I'm using a site called DeFi Llama. I want all of you to note it. I will send it in the chat. Give me a second. So if possible, you guys can even start it up on your screens while we are talking. Okay. So I think this is the best site when it comes to DeFi related content or statistics. So here what we have done is now we've gone specifically into DEXs, and for every DEX we see a numbering, right? Now that numbering is based on TVL, which is total value locked. Now what is the meaning of TVL? So in any DeFi platform protocol, if we take all the different assets that are on it, and you know where you can stake, lend, buy, sell, whatever, what is the total value of all those assets in dollar terms as of right now is what we call as that total value locked. So what is the value of all the cryptos that are locked on that platform? That determines the ranking. In the world of crypto, we don't do TVL. What do we do there? Would someone like to answer that? So we asked a question which is actually the answer to what I was asking. So market cap is what we use in regular cryptos. Total number of cryptos multiplied by the current price is market cap. But that is not relevant in DeFi. In DeFi, we only care about the TVL, total value locked. So it is not the market cap of that protocol. The market cap is always determined by a simple formula. Number of cryptos or tokens multiplied by the current price. TVL represents other people's tokens which are on your DeFi protocol. I hope that's clear. Can you just give me a yes, no if this explanation was clear? Awesome. Now, as we can see here, the TVL for the first one, which is Curve, is $19.7 billion. And then the second one, Uniswap, is 7.9. You can see the fall. So almost 20 and then going down to just below 8. Then 5, 3, and then it starts to go downwards. And we can also calculate a metric called MCAP by TVL. So now in this case, we will say, let's say we are taking the example of the first one, Curve. So number of Curve tokens multiplied by their price in the market is equal to the market cap of it. TVL is how much is locked in it. When we take market cap divided by TVL, we get this answer. So as we can see here, for the top guy, it's a 0.04 or 0.4 in case of Uniswap. And then it keeps varying very, very widely. So where it's only a 0.04 here, it's a 0.4 here. So that is the reason I don't pay too much attention to the MCAP/TVL ratio, because I have not found any statistical, like what is it that should be there in a good DeFi protocol. I haven't found an answer to that. Another thing you'll be able to see here is which are the chains on which that particular DeFi protocol is actually active. So again, when we look at Curve here, we can see Ethereum is here, we can see Avalanche here, and then we can go deeper. So suppose we click on Ethereum. So now what it is going to show us is on Ethereum, which are the top DeFi protocols. So that's how we can go into a particular blockchain and then look at all the DeFi protocols which are running on that particular blockchain. And as we can see, while this runs on multiple, Curve, Uniswap runs on fewer, PancakeSwap runs only on one. So like this, we can also see that particular movement. Any questions? What is the ideal ratio? Yeah, so like I said, Souvik, for this, I have not found an ideal ratio yet. So this part's clear. I hope DEXs are all clear. Now let's just go back and we see that, okay, after DEXs, we have lending. Now, when we talk about lending, these are protocols that are going to allow users to borrow and lend assets. I hope that's visible clearly on your screens. Just give me a yes. Awesome. So when we look at it here in lending, we see the number one is Anchor, and then comes Aave, Compound, and the others. By the way, if you want to learn more about each of these protocols, I'm starting a new free course which is called Learn One Crypto per week. I mean, that's not the name, I'll give it a better name. But basically from Aave all the way down to Zcash, I'm going to cover each of the top 50 cryptos and telling you guys, what does it actually do and what are the use cases and how good or bad it is. So don't worry about that for now. If you don't know what Anchor is or Aave is, it doesn't matter. Just remember, these are the protocols that allow borrowing and lending to be done. And again, we can see here, we have the TVL, which is there, right? So we have TVL and we have MCAP by TVL. Let me just go back. Okay. Then we have bridges. Now, this is a very important thing to remember. These are protocols that are going to bridge tokens from one network to another. And that is the area today where we are having the maximum problems. So, when we are seeing these attacks which are happening today, there are different independent blockchains. On a particular blockchain, whenever we do a transaction, we call it atomic transaction. I hope you guys remember the meaning of atomic transactions. Is anyone aware? Yes, no? Okay, you all know what atomic transactions are. Amazing. So, okay, since some of you don't know, I'll just briefly tell you. In an atomic transaction, so let's say it's a two-way transaction. I'm giving you, simple example, token A, you are giving me token B. What if I send you A and you don't give me B, or vice versa? So we don't trust each other because we don't know each other. So what happens in an atomic transfer is, first token A gets locked in my wallet, token B gets locked in your wallet, the exchange happens, and then they get unlocked, right? So nobody can just run away with half the transaction. Nobody can take your crypto and run away. It will happen full way exchange. But this happens only within a blockchain. So you can do this on Ethereum, but only Ethereum tokens will run. You can do it on Binance, only Binance token. How do we do these transactions from Ethereum to Binance? And that is where bridges come in. They try to connect the two. That's one way in which it is done. And you see a list of some of the names here. And here they've also put in something called WBTC. What happens here is, a lot of people want to use Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. But Bitcoin doesn't exist on Ethereum. It exists on its own blockchain. So it gets locked on the Bitcoin platform, and the same amount is issued on the Ethereum platform as an ERC20 token called wrapped Bitcoin. So it allows you to use Bitcoin on Ethereum. But remember, you're not actually holding the Bitcoin. You are getting a wrapped token which corresponds to Bitcoin locked on the Bitcoin platform. So you can go and verify at any given point of time whether the address actually holds the correct number of Bitcoin, and the wrapped versions are available. So that also is something we bring into the concept of bridges, right? Questions? All clear? Chainlink does that? No, that's a good question. One sec, let me just go back. So Chainlink is actually a network of oracles. Oracles are providing data feeds from outside the blockchain, and the data feed usually doesn't even relate to, say, blockchain data. It would be data like airline, what time did a particular plane land, or what are the commodity prices of gold and silver in the outside market. That is brought into the blockchain, and yes, bridges could use that information. But no, oracles are not bridges. They're completely different. If I'm not wrong, wrap tokens are also a security hazard. You are absolutely right. So, Nishant, what happens is when we talk about wrap tokens, you have to trust somebody, right? Because that token is being wrapped on somewhere else. So, if it is a coffee coin, then in Brazil, there is somebody holding coffee. Some custodian needs to keep verifying, and you need to trust them. When you talk about stable coins like USDT, Tether says, I have the money in my bank, you have to trust them. Similarly, in a wrapped BTC, you're trusting the people that they're actually holding something in the Bitcoin blockchain. So yes, it is not really a security hazard. I say it is a trust hazard. Any other questions? All clear? Okay. Now, obviously, I won't go into each and every one of these, but then there is also yield. Okay, algo stables is something I want to talk to you about. So these are stable coins, right? So when we talk about algorithmic stable coins, that means you are using some kind of an algorithm to maintain the stability in the price. But when we talk about USDT kind of things, right? What are we talking about there? It is a fiat pegged stable coin, which means somebody is holding fiat. Against it, you are issuing a stable coin. So that is actually easier to manage and trust. But when it comes to algorithmic, you are trusting an algorithm that it will maintain a price stability. So what it does usually is it can increase and decrease the supply to maintain a very constant value. But in my personal experience, most of the algorithmic stable coins have failed, basically because of security vulnerabilities or the way in which it was created, the smart contracts. There are far too many bugs, so I stay far away from algorithmic stable coins. And I would recommend even you guys should kind of not really use algorithmic stable coins. Any questions? Well, Luna, definitely. So, well, Luna is a slightly more complex thing. I've written a detailed post on it. You can have a look at that. So in Luna, we do have both. So we have Terra and Terra coins, which are stable coins, and then Luna, which is their native token. So you're right, it is as of today the best, but I'm going to come back to that very soon. We have yield aggregators that allow you to make money. So what they do is they are going to find out for you what are the best ways to make money through staking, lending, and other such DeFi use cases. So we call those platforms as yield aggregators. Cross-chain, again, protocols which are working towards interoperability between different blockchains. I hope all this is visible. I'm right now, can you see cross-chain, which is highlighted there at number 11? Yeah, perfect. I'm sorry I need to keep asking you that because I can't hear you guys. So I'm always confused whether you can hear me clearly or not. Insurance, very good use cases have started to come on this. I mentioned to you about the flight timing because that is one of the best insurance use cases. If your flight is delayed, you get paid some money, otherwise no. So this can be done by oracles bringing in the data about the landing time of each flight and then a smart contract deciding whether you are to be paid money or not. And the entire process is very seamless. So this is a very good application of DeFi. There are a whole bunch of others. There are payments, then there are synthetics. This is a very good thing which I want you guys to know about. So these are protocols which you use to create tokenized derivatives which are going to mimic the value of another asset. So if you want to create a crypto instrument which is mimicking the value of silver in the real world, well, then you would use a synthetics platform. So I've used Mirror quite a bit. I'm not sure where it is in the list right now. Okay, I don't even see it in the top 10. But Alchemix and Injective and all these are there. I haven't used them in a long time. Yes, UMA protocol I've used in the past. So, and then of course we have staking. I'm sure all of you know. Staking is when you, so in the proof of world work, miners calculate a mathematical problem, the solution to a math problem. In a proof of stake world, you hold tokens which are then locked, and then you can become a validator, validate a block, get some reward as well as get some transaction fee. So this is where, you know, these are protocols which make it easy for you to stake assets. Indexes, I mean, that's the number one thing that I really love, because that allows you to invest directly into a bundle of cryptos which is related to each other. So you could have an index around, say, the public blockchain. So you would invest only in tokens of public blockchain. That can become a separate index in itself. Or a metaverse index, which is only metaverse related cryptos which you would use. So that's what indexes do. Pretty simple. I have some questions, so let me do that. Uh, 1 second. Let me just read your questions out. Sorry. So fiat would be in different investment instruments. Yes, of course, fiat can be in various forms. And staking, yeah, sure, I'll explain staking to you again. So staking basically means certain amount of your crypto is locked, and you now become a validator for a bunch of transactions. So suppose 100 of us are there who want to be stakers. So we lock our cryptos. Then randomly or based on an algorithm, we are selected. So I get selected. Then I'm basically validating, not obviously physically, it's automated, done by the tech, but I'm responsible for validating a bunch of transactions and I get some reward for it. Oracle is, like I said, a service which brings outside data, like maybe share prices, onto a blockchain, or takes data from the blockchain and gives it to applications outside, so to dApps and all that. Any other questions? Okay, just give me a second. Again, my request to the creator team, you have to make it a little bigger font for me. I find it tough to read black on white, but anyway. Index funds is a very good concept. There are a few index funds which are available. You could directly use them. Creating yourself is also possible, but unfortunately, the platforms which enable you to create your own indexes as of right now are only on Ethereum. The transaction fee is way too high. But if I do come to know about an index creation protocol which is there on other platforms, I'll definitely let you know. Is staking and value locked the same? No. When we talk about a DeFi protocol, it's not only staking, right? So if I am running a particular use case on top of Binance, I may not have staking in it, but my use case runs there, so my tokens are running on Binance. So the total value of my tokens would be part of the TVL of Binance Smart Chain. If I have a lot of coins, will I be a validator? Can I manipulate the data? No. So that's a very good question. Now it depends on the mathematical algorithm that is actually being used in the particular thing that you're talking about. So what it does is, like let's take an example of Binance Smart Chain. So I think they take 21 validators every day. So a new list of 21 is created, and to apply you need about $4 million of BNB. So yes, in that case, it becomes pretty centralized and very few people actually hold that amount. So it would depend upon how the algorithm is working in that particular platform, right? So that's one thing. Then what is yield farming? Why is it so volatile? Yeah, that's a good question. I'll be very honest with you. I find a lot of these crypto tokens nowadays, they're like Ponzi schemes, right? It only makes sense as long as somebody else is buying it from you. But you should always ask the question, what is the token doing? So someone can say, I will give you 100% returns per year, which means if you have 100 tokens locked today, I will give you 200 back. But the question is, what does the token do other than growing and becoming 1 to 2, 2 to 4? The token doesn't do anything. In that case, it is absolutely a Ponzi scheme. The sooner you get out of it, the better. So whenever I see a token platform giving too high ROIs, I stay away from it because that means something is wrong. Because if it's a good solid project, it should not be giving you very high returns. I would say anything above 20 and I begin to get suspicious. Yeah. And who maintains authenticity of the data? So that is on the Oracle provider. So you asked a question, who maintains the thing on a Oracle platform? Well, so what happens in an Oracle platform is different people provide it. And on Chainlink, when you're providing data, your link tokens are held so that if you give wrong data, you are fined for it. But ultimately, it's up to the data provider. How would a Bitcoin backed stablecoin work? Well, first of all, I would never call it a stablecoin because Bitcoin is way too volatile, right? But you can call it a wrapped asset. So, like I said, you lock Bitcoin on the Bitcoin platform, and then on any other platform like Ethereum, you issue an ERC20 token, which is one-to-one backed by that. So that makes it pretty simple, right? Hold on. Let me just answer some more questions. Difference between TL market cap. Yeah, sure. I'll explain the difference between. Give me some time. I'll come back to TVL versus market cap very soon. Don't worry. Due to bugs, it is difficult to trust algorithmic stablecoins. Yes, absolutely. I find too many bugs in them, so I stay away from them. Someone asked, what's a derivative? Sure, very good question. A derivative is a financial instrument that derives value from some other asset, which is called the underlying asset. So if I am a farmer growing corn, it takes me 3 months to grow the corn. But I always wonder, what if the rate falls after 3 months? Kellogg's, on the other hand, they buy corn and they make cornflakes. So they are worried, what if the rate goes up in the future? So I and Kellogg's can enter into an agreement today saying, Kellogg's, 3 months from now, you will buy 100 kgs of corn from me at a price of 100 rupees a kilo. And both of us sign on that. We call this kind of a document a derivative because it is deriving its value from corn price of 3 months from now. So that's what a derivative is. It's like hundreds of different kinds of derivatives exist, but they always derive value from some other underlying asset, hence the term derivative. Oracle Data Administrator provides, yeah, so multiple people are Oracle data service providers. You can run your own Oracle service also if you want. Can algo trading give returns in the long? That's a very good question. So, see, algorithmic trading doesn't only happen in the crypto market, it happens in the stock markets also. Honestly, if it was that easy, everybody in the world would only do algo trading. No, algo trading can give you hundreds of % return. It can give you hundreds of % loss also, just like regular trading. So I'm not very, very bullish on algo trading. See, I'm not a trader to begin with. So I may not be the right person to answer that question. Derivatives can be related to future. Yes. So derivatives are going to be settled sometime in the future. So they are always, their value changes based on the value of future. So today, when I entered into that contract with Kellogg's, it was 100 rupee rate. So 3 months from now, even if it is 300 in the market, Kellogg's has to buy my stuff at 100 and I have to sell it to them at 100. Wrapped asset derivatives, I have not heard of them yet, but I'm sure there must be some. So maybe you could try looking for Paxos Gold. So that's a gold backed token, and they maintain gold, physical gold in their warehouses, and then they may be having derivatives around it. I've not checked. Yeah. Let me just check some more questions. How important is tokenomics if we plan? I'll come back to that. What do you think about the advantage of mining pools since Bitcoin? Okay, I'll come back to these questions a little later because right now I want to first talk about the DeFi solutions. So again, I'm hoping you can see my screen. So we have indexes, then we have NFT marketplaces. They are also quite popular nowadays. So we can see there are 6 of them, and this is the to TVL or combined TVL, which is of all the projects running. So what this number means is, when we look at all the DEXs, there are 428 protocols, Uniswap, Binance, all those put together. When we take the total TVL of all, it is coming to 65. Then for lending, it is coming to 50. So that is what the combined TVL here applies. So like this, you can see there's a whole bunch of things. Oracle is right at the bottom. And if I go into Oracle, these are the 3 that they've covered. I'm very surprised they don't have Chainlink here. So maybe they're still updating their data. So a lot of this data on DeFi Llama is being updated. So let's give them a few more weeks. But other than that, we can see almost all categories. They found the top projects and they are getting a lot of very good information available here. So these are the types of protocols. Now what is important for us to understand is which are the blockchains on which DeFi actually runs, right? And according to me, that's a very important thing to realize whether a blockchain is important or not. So as we can see here, the total value locked on Ethereum DeFi projects is 114 billion. And the next is Terra, which is only 30 billion. So you see the difference. So, when people say that Ethereum killers and all that, it's rubbish. All these other players are so far behind Ethereum. I don't think we can call them Ethereum killers. I mean, people say Solana is supposed to kill Ethereum. Well, Solana is 6.4 billion. Ethereum is 114. So I don't think anybody is near. This is the nearest, Terra, which is about 30 billion, right? You see the difference here. Then is Binance Smart Chain, the third one. So Ethereum is the most popular public blockchain for DeFi use cases. 476 protocols run on it. Then comes Terra. The platform is Terra. Luna is the name of a token there. Binance Smart Chain, which has 375, which is a good number, but quantity amount wise is just about 12. Then Avalanche with about almost 10 billion. And then we have Solana, Phantom, Tron, Polygon. So a lot of people ask me about Polygon also. So as we can see here, Polygon's very famous for their layer 2 scaling solutions. But when we talk about their blockchain, we can see that even though there are 247 projects running on it, the TVL is only 3.79. So it's bare, not even $4 billion, right? In fact, Tron is more than that. So these are the top 10 public blockchains which are for DeFi. And you'll realize Bitcoin is not here. It may be somewhere below. So I will, now can you see Bitcoin is at number 38. Now I have a question for you guys. Why is Bitcoin there in a list of public blockchains which are meant for DeFi? So can anyone answer that question? Why is it there? I mean, Bitcoin is just supposed to be one crypto, right? No, not because it's a store of value. Now, Pawan says because it is not programmable. In fact, that's my question. If Bitcoin is not programmable, no DeFi runs on it, why is it actually listed here? Right? Sorry, here. Why is it here at number 38? And it says there's $147 million of TVL in it. Anyone? Okay. And the answer is here. Okay. So there are multiple platforms which are actually bringing DeFi to Bitcoin. So one example is Lightning Network. What it does is it makes it very cheap and very fast to do transactions on Bitcoin. So take an example of El Salvador. Bitcoins become legal tender. One guy walks into a McDonald's there and says, I want to pay in Bitcoin. Now McDonald's is not going to wait for 60 minutes because in Bitcoin, we'll always wait for 60 minutes before we can say transaction has actually gone through. MACD is not going to wait. Lightning Networks makes Bitcoin payment super fast. And then there is a platform called Stacks, which for whatever reason is not mentioned here. Here you can see Stacks at number 41. Sorry, number 42. Can you see Stacks here? Can someone just quickly tell me if Stacks is visible on your screen? Awesome. So what Stacks is doing is, it is bringing DeFi to Bitcoin. Consider it like a layer 2 on Bitcoin. And it allows you to do all sorts of DeFi, including smart contracts, NFTs, everything you can create on Bitcoin. And I'm very, very bullish on those kind of use cases because from a tech point of view, I trust Bitcoin the most because it's the oldest. Hardly any attacks have successfully happened. And the ransomware creators of the world use only Bitcoin. They are the world's topmost hackers. Nobody can be a better hacker than a ransomware writer. If he takes his money in Bitcoin, that means Bitcoin is unbreakable even by the best of talent. So I'm very bullish on things like Stacks, which are bringing DeFi to Bitcoin. Questions? Let me just copy some from here. Just give me a second. DeFi is being designed to use cryptocurrency in its ecosystem, so Bitcoin is in DeFi. Oh, okay, that was your answer to that, Ashish. But I hope my answer is clear. I've explained to you why Bitcoin was there on that. So that's kind of more or less what I wanted to discuss with you. Now I want you guys to do a little bit of homework. Please go to this DeFi Llama. One is, of course, go through the top blockchains, but more importantly, please have a look at all the protocol categories. And I want you to dig deeper. From here, you can just read about it. So you know in a glance what each category does. But then, pick your favorite category. Like which category are you bullish on? So if you think DEXs are the way forward, then you would be bullish on DEXs, then go deeper, look at the top DEXs, and maybe you could then decide to only invest in DEX tokens. So you could create your own index and only go with that or go with lending or whichever one. So I want you guys to take a smarter approach when it comes to DeFi investing. Let me just stop sharing. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. I hope I'm visible to all of you guys now. Yeah. Okay. So now let me just answer some of your questions. How important is tokenomics if we plan to launch our own? Yeah. I would say tokenomics is probably one of the most important things because if your project says that most of the tokens are going to go to the initial founders, well, then nobody would want to invest in your platform because you're keeping everything. So your token economics probably is in the top 3 most important things in your project. Of course, top would always be your use case, which is what business problem are you solving or what business opportunity are you creating. Second would be the technology, and third would be your token economics, right? Other questions? Oh yeah, by the way, I'll be conducting a Web3 quiz at 5:30 on this same exact platform, Creator. So make sure you come back for that. So we give out prizes, and prizes are cash prize sponsored by the great guys at Creator. They give you 2 grand, and from today onwards, we're also going to give you free hi-fi tokens to the top 5 of the quiz. So make sure you guys come back at 5:30 for the quiz also. Let me see some of the other questions. Just give me a second. So good resources to learn token economics. Unfortunately, I don't know any. I'll look it up, and if I find something useful, I'll share it with you. Or maybe we could do a session on token economics next. Token economics is like fractional investing. No. Token economics is how are the tokens of a particular platform which is new, how is it going to be distributed? Who gets how much percent? That is what token economics is. Yeah, we have to develop some of the problems in DeFi. Yes, that's a very good point. So when we talk about some of the problems in DeFi that are there today, so I would say a number one problem that I see today is that when I use a platform like Ethereum, which is the king for DeFi, the transaction fee is really high. So it kind of makes most projects redundant. And that is why now people are trying to develop on other blockchains which are cheaper. But then the problem is, what if that blockchain becomes popular and again the prices go high? Second problem that I see is that the same token, the code, can exist on multiple blockchains, but those tokens are unrelated to each other. So I could go to, say, Solana and create a token and call it ABC or ROHAS. But somebody else can go on Binance also and create ROHAS. So that doesn't happen in the real world of share market, for example, because there's a central body which allots codes to you, and no 2 companies can have the same code. In airports, it's a global body. No 2 airports in the world can have the same 3-digit code. So Singapore will always be SGP and Pune is PNQ. You will not have 2 airports in the world having the same code because that creates too much confusion. But in DeFi, there is nobody who can stop that, right? So that is a very big problem. These are some of the problems. Of course, I'm not saying there are not others. Another problem which comes in is there is no KYC. So banks will never use it. That restricts the growth of DeFi. Another problem that you see is there's no anti-money laundering check. You don't know who you're dealing with, right? So what if you're dealing with some criminal or some terrorist and you get into trouble because of that? Unfortunately, there's no way to know. So those are, I would say, are some of the problems with DeFi today. Just look at some more questions. What do you think of the advantage going for probably what is okay? Are DeFi protocols actually decentralized? Yeah, that's a good question. So it's tough to know. So I wrote a post about this some time ago, that are the top cryptos really decentralized? Bitcoin's not. More than 50% of the mining power is with a small group of pools. Same is the case with Binance. Very few people, like 21 I think, get chosen, but they all have millions of dollars worth of Binance coin. You and I cannot even become validators on a platform like Binance. So yes, definitely not. Ethereum, again, more than 50% of mining power is again with a small bunch of people. You look at USDT and it's entirely controlled by one startup called Tether, huge company now. So most of the cryptos are not very decentralized. And there's the same question raised against Solana, that how could the entire blockchain go down? You know, for 18 hours, the entire blockchain was down, which means it is not at all decentralized. Because the whole logic of blockchain is you're supposed to have multiple nodes. Unless all 100% nodes shut down, your blockchain is not supposed to stop. Solana stopped. So it kind of raises a lot of questions about how it is. So these are some of the issues that I want you guys to remember. Okay, so a little off topic. What is the new NFT regulation? Okay, so we'll do that in a separate session. So what I want from you guys is suggest to me what are the other topics we should cover. So every week on Friday, I want to do a knowledge session like this, about 30 odd minutes. So we've started with DeFi. Now you can just message me or put it here or put it on any social profile where I'm there about what you want to learn next, right? So whether it's around NFTs, whether it's around DAOs, metaverses, whatever, tell me your topics and I'll definitely do a session for you guys. Yeah. This session is recorded, Kushal, sorry, and it is available on, we stream across. So if you are a part of my Telegram group or you follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube. It's streamed live there also, but I would recommend come and join me here, because I'm only able to take questions which I see on Creator. So please make sure you follow me on Creator, and every time I do a session, you will anyway get a WhatsApp a little before that. Yeah, Nishant wants to learn how to read a white paper. Sure, that's another good topic. We can do that. Tokenomics is another good one. Sure. So great. Definitely, we'll do more of these. Yeah. But you know, other than this, also you can think and let me know. Give me a whole series, and we'll definitely do those in our Friday sessions. And like I said, the videos are available. You can just go there. And please don't forget to join me back at 5:30 on this same platform. We'll be doing our weekly quiz. This week's topic is Web3. The person who tops gets 2,000 rupees cash prize from the creator team, and the top 5 guys will get hi-fi tokens. Yeah. So great. Yeah, I can see some good topics being put up by you guys, and I'll definitely be covering them. Yeah. So okay, guys. See you at 5:30. Bye bye.